Welcome to the Undrafted Uncensored cast of Pod. Hosted by Nick Archuleta. Mosted by Colin Zanker. And last but certainly is least, Joseph Goodwin.
Bless you. Welcome into the Undrafted Uncensored, a part of the E5280 Sports Network, where we love fans more frustrated than us, and Steelers fans are the best fans right now.
Bless me.
Did you not?
I know all about the Steelers fans. Yeah, I mean, Nick, you'd probably be really happy being a Steelers fan right now. I mean, that team always has a winning record. You know, they can never make it to the Super Bowl, but they're always drafting in the middle of the first round because they just make the playoffs consistently.
Yeah, it's your kind of team, Nick.
It's Nick's perfect life.
I hate you both.
I don't know what you mean by frustrated. That's like your happy place.
That should be perfect. Just perennial 8-8.
9-7, 9-8.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care.
Hey, they were doing fine when they were winning Super Bowls.
The
Broncos.
not the
Broncos.
I was like, the Steelers have won Super Bowl in the last 25 years.
Early odds?
No, they got two.
Didn't they got
Big Ben
got
the
one.
Seahawks won from 2005 when they beat us in the championship game, and then they got the Kurt Warner, Santonio Holmes didn't touchdown.
That's right. Two.
Yeah, 2009, 2006, and 2009.
Yeah.
There it is.
I was
Right.
I was thinking just the Jerome Bettis one. That's the one I forgot about, the Arizona Cardinals, Kurt Warner.
Forgot about the Santonio Holmes.
Yep. But either way, every year drafting in the middle.
It's the best.
2009, a bunch of mediocrity.
And they're just
You draft a lot of
been on
buffs,
a road
too.
of sadness for a long time too, with that horrible offensive coordinator that's just been bad, and he's been there for like 3 years. Like, it's not
They
like he's
fired him.
new. They're still not very good because they never draft
That's because
offensive
they've
linemen.
Trubisky as their quarterback.
Well, no, they had Kenny Pickett all year too, and for a couple of weeks without Canada, it still didn't look that great. Their O-line is really bad. Like, the amount of Steelers fans that I saw get like livid when they drafted Najee Harris over an offensive lineman because they had nobody to block. I think it was Roethlisberger's last year, maybe. They just refuse and or fail to address the O-line. And, we saw that here for, the last 6-7 years. And finally, they're starting to at least do one thing right. They still can't pass block, but.
Well, yeah, I mean, they got rid of Canada. They did the game after they got rid of Matt Canada. They did go for 450 plus yards.
Yeah,
that's more than Canada ever got. So that's
and then they reverted back to whatever on Thursday night against
New England.
Patriots.
Hey,
yeah. I just love. Did you guys? So everybody understands. I posted a couple tweets. One was I didn't understand how the Steelers could be 7-5 with the offense that was that terrible. But at the end of the game, there's just about 2 minutes left. 4th and 2 for the Steelers. And this is how frustrated these fans are. And I loved it because it made me laugh. I had to rewind it and watch it a couple times. Trubisky is in the gun with 4th and 2, drops back, hurls it up, incomplete. And you heard as he dropped back and started to throw, the entire stadium went, oh. I was dying of laughter. That was the best thing I heard in so long.
Oh, I don't know if I noticed that groan, but that's all. I remember that play. That was hilarious because I not to brag, but I did pick up and start Ezekiel Elliott in fantasy, so that worked out great. But that was just nuts. 4th and 2, and it's like, wait, didn't they fire the moron offensive coordinator? Like, what the fuck? I mean, just at least throw a slant, like something quick. I mean, if you're not gonna believe in the run, but I don't know, Najee Harris.
You got 2 minute warning still.
You would hope.
Well, they got the ball back, but Nick, to be fair, the reason why you've never heard that is because usually you're cheering for Russell Wilson when he drops back to throw in the fourth quarter on a game-tying drive. where all the rest of the fans, like myself, are like, oh.
No, I'm yelling, going, he's right there. He's right there.
Yeah, you're not.
Throw it.
See, you believe he can still hit that player, while I believe that he will not make the correct throw.
He still has a little bit left in the tank. So
he has the arm to throw interceptions.
He's just good enough to throw some interceptions.
He's still good enough to get the job done. I asked this of my parents the other night, and I just want to see if you guys kind of think the same way. Is Russell Wilson the quarterback equivalent of John Fox? Because you look at it, they weren't doing that well when Fox came in. Fox fixes them, but can't get obviously very far into the postseason. So he can't get the job done. Well, he can't get the job done.
I wouldn't say Fox fixed him. I would say Fox wasn't Josh McDaniels.
But he turned the organization around after what McDaniels did. He had to be that bridge. Is Russ the same kind of, for lack of a better phrase, a bridge to the next gen Bronco?
No, I mean, no, because but the money makes that bridge so much harder to deal with. Like that, it's like one of those like shitty rickety bridges from a movie where they're like trying to get in the jungle. They got to cross over a giant waterfall. That's the kind of bridge Russell Wilson is. It's because you put so much resources into him, and you're not going to be able to get rid of him without putting more resources into the act of getting rid of him. And that makes it much more difficult to consider him a bridge. It kind of just feels like just a step back that ended up being functional for a year. So that was cool.
Well, I think he's actually much more Josh McDaniels than John Fox. Because McDaniels, no, listen up. So McDaniels comes in, wins a few games, but then everyone gets kind of sick of his shit. Don't you kind of feel like some of the Broncos are kind of sick of Russell Wilson's crap? Like they're just kind of over it, hey guys, when it's a pass, we yell pass, run. And then in the biggest, I know, but that's also just Josh McDaniels.
That's the worst part.
Out to be, Josh McDaniels. What?
Well, it's a different way.
Yeah,
but Russell's not like Josh McDaniels. It just has the same effect.
It's the same effect because
McDaniels is the personality.
But no, it's the same effect. Like they just get kind of tired of it and over it. And like I think some of the guys are just kind of over Russ's stuff. Like last year, all the Let's Ride, everything, all the videos, everything like that. I think they were kind of just over it. And even this year, it's to a lesser extent. But you wonder why those veteran guys are out of the locker room. Probably because they weren't putting up with Russell Wilson's crap. And you're not going to get rid of a $250 million contract when you can say, okay, Frank Clark, see you later. Okay, Gregory, see you later. Those are a lot easier contracts to just dump off than your quarterback. So I think that, like I said, he's a lot more like McDaniels where it just kind of wears on you. Because when the Broncos were 6-0, everything was good, right? It was like we didn't care about what McDaniels had done or anything like that or said. But then he starts losing games and you hear everything else going out. I also kind of think that you don't like John Fox. John Fox could win you some average games. The reason
which is what Russ has done.
Which is the reason Russell Wilson has won these kind of average games is because he's been playing below average and the other guys have done it for him. Like, we talked about it. The Broncos won games when they rushed more times than passed, and Russell Wilson threw for under 200 yards every time.
That was the formula,
It wasn't Russ winning the games. So I kind of think he's more McDaniels-like than he is Fox-like.
Yeah. I wasn't going to go that far, but I was going to say that, I think he's worse than Fox because Fox was neutral. Like, he didn't really add anything, but he didn't take anything away. Because that team already had talent. You saw them go 5-0 with Josh McDaniels, or 6-0. It was 6-0 with Josh McDaniels. Like there was good players on that team, and they'd been drafting well because the GM the guy before Elway, Brian Zanders, he was doing a good job. The Broncos had talent. And then McDaniel screwed a lot of that up by taking, every good player over a better player, except for Demaryius Thomas, rest in peace. That was the best thing McDaniels ever did for the Broncos was draft Demaryius Thomas, which is weird because that's a great thing that we have to give him credit for. And now I'm mad about that. I just realized. Russell feels like that guy that's more of a if you do it the certain way, he can kind of get back to neutral, but generally it's going to be a negative. Like throwing it too much with Russ is bad. Going in a shotgun with Russ too much is bad. The amount of money that you've paid Russ is bad. The amount of draft picks you gave up hamstringing this roster is bad. Like there's so much negativity put into Russell Wilson. Like he's never going to be able to overcome all of that, I feel like. And so he's just kind of stuck in that position where John Fox, he was just kind of there. He let his coordinators kind of take over and do a lot so Mike McCoy could change the offense for Tim Tebow. But you don't give John Fox credit for that. You don't give John Fox credit for Adam Gase and Peyton Manning's offense. That's kind of really them. Like he was just kind of there. But Russ, man, if he could just kind of be there, that would be awesome.
And I guess that kind of goes to my point. Like John Fox, he kept everything kind of steady and where it should be. But when you give Russ the reins, he's much more like Josh McDaniels with the reins. Everything goes to shit. Like when you give Russ everything to take over, it's like, oh, this isn't going well. I mean, we saw it last year with Russ implementing his whole offense.
Yeah.
And Sean Payton has kind of taken that over and limited Russ. So
that was also a coach that didn't know how to say no and was trying to be everybody's buddy and thought he knew everything because he found success with a future Hall of Fame quarterback.
Well, yeah, but tell me the game.
It was easier to cater to your quarterback because that's all he had to do. I mean, he had to basically just say, "This is what I have," and when Aaron Rodgers says, "That's stupid. We're not going to do that," you don't do it. But nobody sees that behind the scenes stuff, and so he brings that attitude here, that mentality of the quarterback will fix it. Well, Russ has never had to fix anything because he's had Pete Carroll the whole time.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll won't ask for his opinion. Pete Carroll doesn't give two shits about anybody's opinion, really.
Much like Josh McDaniels always had Bill Belichick in front of him.
Yeah.
And once he got the chance to do it and do everything his way, much like Russ did last year, it went to crap.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, you can say Hackett was the coach that let it happen, but the ideas were still Russ. Like he was catering to the quarterback. These ideas were from the quarterback.
But this year's not all of it has been Russ though. They started that 5-0 run. That was the Broncos coming back and letting the coach do what the coach needed to do. And yes, exactly. It's broken down to football 101. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason they start with football 101 because it works.
Yep. And
I think last week John Fox got a little too cocky. John Fox. Let me try that again.
I think the better question is Sean Payton the current John Fox?
And that was actually gonna be a piggyback question too.
Yeah.
Is he gonna be the John Fox? He's gonna rewrite the ship, but he's not gonna be able to really get them too far, and someone else is gonna come in and finish fixing the mess.
No, I mean, I think that Peyton has a much better draft record than Fox did. I think that he can fix it and make it work. He's proven to be a coach that can make a contender year after year after year. I mean, so many years while he was with the Saints, granted he has Drew Brees, but also that team brought in the correct free agents. The team drafted the right guys.
Reggie Bush.
Besides Bountygate, Reggie Bush crushed for them. Reggie Bush was electric for the Saints, and it was, everyone thought he was washed. I mean, that's a great example. Everyone thought that he wasn't going to make it because of how he started his career at some point. It was just like, oh, he can't run the ball. Like, he's not going to make it in the NFL. And then Sean Payton schemes him up, and it's like, oh man, this guy is going to do it.
Yeah. And they always had multiple backs too. That was when they had, he's like, no, we have Deuce McAllister. We don't need Reggie Bush. We just also now have Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
So to go back to your comment real quick, Colin, about John Fox's drafting, under his watch, Von Miller, Raheem Moore, Orlando Franklin, Nate Irving, Quentin Carter, Julius Thomas, Mike Muhammad, Virgil Green, Jeremy Beal in his first year.
No. That's not John Fox, the GM drafting. You are talking about John Elway, the GM drafting those guys. And you got to go back to Carolina. When you think about New Orleans, Sean Payton was doing those drafts. Those are his draft picks. You don't attribute those when you're arguing about Elway's legacy and his bad draft picks. You don't put those on John Fox.
Well, the Saints had a GM too. They weren't all Sean Payton's draft picks. He was
I'm just
there, but they worked in concert. Googling the guy's name right now.
Throwing out there who was picked while he was still head coach. This is all I'm saying. They were all John Elway. But I'm telling you that he had a word in whether or not Elway listened to his word is different, but he did have a word in there. And then he got Derek Wolfe, Brock Osweiler, Ronnie Hillman, Omar Bolden, Philip Blake, Malik Jackson, and Danny Trevathan.
Yeah, those were all pretty bad Elway drafts. But yeah, John Fox had nothing to do with those. He just, because he's not going to be able to tell Elway, no. These were all just Elway choices. I don't think that's, that's just like, that happened to happen to be the guys that got picked while he was there. I don't feel like he had really any impact on those guys.
Yeah.
It's
because he was gone after the second year.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't think that's totally relevant. But yeah, I don't know. I hope that Sean Payton can be more than a John Fox for this team. Because this year, that's really all he's been able to be. And that's because it was such a fucking mess before he got here. Like, he had to do so much just to get the team back to regular. And now the team is regular, basically. And they're hoping to make a playoff push, which kind of feels like a lot of the teams after the Elway years of like, we're on the cusp. We're trying to make a push. We might end up just 8-8, but we're hoping to get a playoff win. So for a few years, obviously, it was losing to Peyton Manning every fucking year.
Yeah. Well,
this feels normal, and if we can get better, hell yeah. But if this is all that we get to, and Sean Payton only lasts a few years, then still worth it.
Well, and the difference, we started the show off talking about the Steelers. I mean, the Steelers just being above average every year, or right at 500 when they could be 500. Like, there's a difference between that and Mike Tomlin's run and then Sean Payton's run, because for most of those years, they were legitimate contenders. But since 2009, how many times could you really say that the Pittsburgh Steelers were legitimate contenders for a Super Bowl? They were just kind of there plotting their way to 8-8 and then, 9-8. They were just methodically making it there. But the Saints, for most of those years, once again, I know they had Drew Brees, but they were still consistently one of those teams that were talked about as one of the best teams in the NFL and a contender for the Super Bowl. Not every year. I mean, there were years, obviously, where they weren't one of those top contenders, but they were. Yeah, they were a team
in New Orleans for a while.
Yeah. A lot of it was their defense.
Yeah. The amount of times that Drew Brees broke the 5,000-yard original, like Dan Marino, unbreakable passing record to just like not even have a winning season.
It was. Yeah, I mean, it was tough, but they were, for the most part, in New Orleans, a contender. And you also got to remember that division at that time also had Matt Ryan, who went to a Super Bowl. The Tampa Bay Bucks were the Tampa Bay Bucks. That was like
they were just kind of there.
That was after their Super Bowl. Yeah,
I was gonna say, did they? I can't remember if they had.
They were like
1 or 2 year run, but
they had a bunch of Josh Freeman.
Yeah.
Young Jameis Winston. They were the worst team in the league to get Jameis Winston because he was the number 1 overall pick. What a sad draft too. Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, top 2 picks.
Yeah. Didn't quite work out. But you had you've had more consistency with championship caliber teams with Sean Payton than you have with John Fox.
John Fox.
Yeah, I was looking at his record with Carolina. 7-9, 11-5, 7-9, 11-5, 8-8, 7-9, 12-4, 8-8, 2-14. So
and then he became the Broncos coach.
Every other year he doesn't make the playoffs, loses the Super Bowl, doesn't make the playoffs, loses in the Super Bowl or loses the NFC Championship, excuse me.
Yep.
Misses playoffs,
misses
had
like
playoffs.
The resurgence of Jake Delhomme, Steve Smith. That was a really good Panthers team. And then the Cardinals, that was a really good championship game too. I remember that one when I was a kid.
Loses in the NFC Championship in 2008. Doesn't make playoffs. The very next year goes to Denver, loses the AFC Divisional, loses Super Bowl, loses AFC Divisional. And then he went to the Bears, and we all know how the Bears are.
Yeah.
That's
right. I forgot he went to the Bears.
I was wondering, like, comparing Russ to John Fox, whereas he's brought in to right the ship, I guess, but not really be the guy. So I don't know. It was just a thought that came to me the other day, and I wanted to get your guys' opinion on it because it was just kind of one of those things where you start seeing old videos and things like that, and you're just like, I wonder.
I mean, in some ways, I could see what you're saying. I just think that it's, like I said, I think when Russ gets control, it more burns it down when he has too much input. Because you need, and maybe he's a lot like Hackett. He needs Sky Daddy telling him what to do.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I guess too, that's why Elway was kind of there for John Fox as well. So maybe Peyton is that John Elway for Russ, who's our John Fox. Except I'm sure Peyton will probably make better decisions.
Yeah, I think Russ is worse than our John Fox.
All right, well, let's get to the real reason we started talking football anyway. Let's look at Sunday before we get dragged into this rabbit hole any further. Broncos Chargers on Sunday from SoFi. The Broncos have yet to have any sort of victory in SoFi Stadium. Colin, what do the Broncos need to break this wonderful curse?
Well,
a win.
I mean, it's been proven over the last few weeks that the Broncos need 3 turnovers in a game to win. That's kind of the minimum. So they need to turn the ball over. They need to stop. I don't know if it's going to be Austin Eckler, honestly, because it sounds a lot more like not Kelly. Is it Josh Kelly?
Yeah,
Josh Kelly. It sounds a lot more like Josh Kelly is going to get a lot of the runs for a lot of the runs. He's gonna get the Lamar Jackson treatment. He's gonna get a lot more run this time around than Austin Eckler, who looks like he has lost a step. I don't know if it was the holdout. I don't know what all it was, but Austin Eckler isn't the same as he was before. So going into that, I think you got to get the turnovers. You got to find a way to stop the offense with Herbert, who could have. I mean, Quentin Johnson is an athletic rookie, but they could have Josh Palmer back at wide receiver this week, who was a big loss to that team. That is a possibility, but Surtain. So I'm trying to find the exact number for Surtain in the slot right now. But what I will say is that for Keenan Allen, he plays like 55% of the time in the slot. And Patrick Surtain does not shadow or cover in the slot much.
Nope.
And so that means that McMillan, who is shorter, or Moreau are going to have to cover Keenan Allen. I don't know why I can't find the slot percentage right here. But I'll look at another one. So I'll find Surtain's numbers in a second. So Keenan Allen is the key. It's stopping Keenan Allen, stopping that offense from going. because this could easily be a dink and dunk type of chance, and then boom, Keenan Allen gets free, much like Jamar Chase the other night. Like it's a 10-yard, 15-yard pass, but you have blown coverage because your safety's up in the box, and he's free down the middle, streaking for a 75-yard touchdown. So Surtain, without his shadowing, right? The number I do have is Surtain only shadows a player 45% of the time. So it's not likely that he's following Surtain or Keenan Allen into the slot.
Yeah,
and that's where the problem
change.
Well, it could, but also maybe Surtain he doesn't have the technique to work in the slot. And if you don't have the technique to work the slot receiver, then you're going to get beat no matter how talented you are when you're going up a guy like against a guy like Keenan Allen, because he knows how to maneuver in that position. So it's not that I don't think he has the talent. I just don't know if he has done it enough to be able to be productive in that position.
Experience, yeah. And that's just not what he does. Yeah. So that's not what they've ever really asked him to do. That is worrying for sure. Because, you're looking at Jaquan McMillan or Damari Mathis as your potential nickel corner, because you've had Fabian Moreau as your outside guy. But I don't know, man. Do you move one of them inside? Like Moreau inside? That's tough, man. Because Keenan Allen, he's been the only guy Herbert's had to throw to. And obviously they only put up 6 points last week, but still, like, Keenan Allen has been everything. Like, as a guy that drafted Mike Williams and then picked up Josh Palmer in fantasy,
you know the pain.
It's been rough for everyone not named Keenan Allen on the Chargers. So that's really going to be the kicker. I think you're totally right. It's being able to stop Keenan Allen, because Austin Eckler, I think the injury that he sustained earlier in the year too is maybe just not quite fixed. Because I have a hard time believing Austin Eckler has just fallen off a cliff that badly. Like, he's still got the hands, he's still got the moves, maybe less speed, but whatever. Like, the slower Darren Sproles still played like 15 years in the NFL. So
yeah, there's a history of guys hitting the mark where Eckler's at and just literally falling off a cliff. I mean,
that's true.
There are a lot more that like Derrick Henry. You could give examples of guys who haven't, but I could give you example after example of superstar running backs who just hit that age and then fall off. I mean, Sean Alexander.
That's true. I'm thinking more of the style, the small, quick receiving back type guy. Those guys usually last and play a while. Danny Woodhead. That's kind of more what I'm thinking of. Not less so the fact that he's just a running back and a good running back. Just his style should lend to more longevity, more efficient, effectiveness in the league. And it's weird that they haven't been able to do much more with it, but I got a miracle win last week because of it. So I'm good with it. And Colin's hoping for a miracle win this week versus the same guy.
I was actually gonna say that, you mentioned those guys, but most of those guys weren't used like Austin Eckler has been. Danny Woodhead, Darren Sproles, they've had him. He's been a great in between the tackles back, popping it out. So
he gets more carries. You're right.
Like,
Philip Lindsay.
Yeah, I agree that the body type and the type of running back he is, he could last longer, but I think you got to take him out of certain roles. And so I found it. So Surtain has only played 45% of his snaps in the slot, and he's played 98% of the total snaps this season. But 45% of those snaps in the slot, 45.1, and his shadow rate is 45.5. So
you know what?
Under half of the time he's been in the slot. And if you think about it, going with that with the shadow rate, it looks to be like the only time he's gone in the slot is when he shadowed someone. So he might shadow him a little bit more, but that still doesn't mean that he goes into the slot all the time to watch the cornerback. The Devontae Adams touchdown, that was not on Surtain.
Yeah, that's honestly though 45%. That's kind of high in terms of like capability and experience. Like, I think if he's been doing it that much this year, he should be able to up it to 65-75%, or just basically just shadow Keenan Allen the whole game, because that's enough experience. I feel like over the course of his career, especially just over this year, like, that's pretty good. He can do it 45% of the time.
Well,
like,
you say that,
that's a decent bit. That's almost half of the time he's able to do that. So I think increasing that is totally doable and possible. But we're talking about Vance Joseph here.
Yeah, but when I say that 45%, like the shadow rate, he's ranked 26th out of cornerbacks in shadow rate.
Yeah,
So
I believe that.
25 other cornerbacks shadow more than Patrick Surtain.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
I
and then
mean,
there's
it feels like a lot, but it really isn't when you think about 25 other guys doing it more often than him.
there's
'Cause
also
there are
the
25
aspect,
better cornerbacks. Oh, go ahead.
No.
there's also the aspect, the running aspect too. Neither team is good at stopping the run.
Yeah.
As
I would
much
give
as
the Broncos
I
the edge,
want to
though.
say the Broncos are, they have very solid middle linebackers. Neither team is good at giving up the run or stopping the run. They're like what 28th and 31st in allowing in rush yardage.
Yeah, but those the Broncos stats are including the
They're
70-point debacle. So they're a
Yeah.
little bit they're a lot of bit inflated.
Yeah.
But I think if you look at more just the recent set of games, they'll have a much better ranking against the run, but still not great. You know.
But I mean the Chargers too, their last three wins have also been against what Zach Wilson, who were they? I just had it pulled up. Damn it.
The Patriots, Bailey Zappi,
Yeah.
Mac Jones,
Nappy and Tyson Badgett.
Tyson Badgett.
Those have been the last three Chargers wins. So that shows you the quality of teams that they're able to beat for now. Which I think kind of bodes in favor of the Broncos too, because Russ is smart enough to look around other than those three quarterbacks and actually find some targets, even if it is a dink and dunk kind of game again, which plays into the hand of how Peyton's been running his offense until last week.
Yeah.
I
think that's a good thing.
You know, that bodes well for that defense because even though, yes, it is Justin Herbert, I think they are going to be able to find a way to control that offense.
So I just pulled it up. In the last 3 games, the Broncos are 18th in rushing.
That's a lot more fair.
So allowing an average of 123.7. Once again, this is the last 3. And then the Chargers, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Chargers are 26 with 149 yards. So once again, you know, I do agree that those numbers are really screwed up because of that Dolphins game. But in the last 3, the Broncos have been better against the run. And at home, they're much better against the run, allowing 128.3, but on the road, that's 179.6. Once again, that includes that Miami game. But still, you're allowing 50 more yards per game on the road on average. And some of the, you know, we all know that some of these games, they have not all been at home. So those numbers do play into that.
Wait,
but
what?
Yeah, surprise.
That's crazy.
So yeah, the last 3 games, Broncos are better at 123. I think if you would have said 2 years ago that we would hold Austin Eckler and the Chargers to under 123 rushing yards, you would take that every day. But I think now this Broncos team, you need to hold them under 100 yards for a chance of a win. Because the Broncos are also going to try and run out the clock. And no matter what Eckler looks like, I still feel like the Chargers are more efficient on the ground. And they've got a little guy named Khalil Mack on the defensive side, too, that is only leading the NFL in sacks.
Just a little guy.
He worries me. And I mean, yeah, this is going to be, I mean, what's his name for the Browns got hurt during the game.
Myles
Garrett. That kind of took his level. Yes, thank you, Garrett. But I mean,
so put a bounty on Khalil Mack.
All in all, they were still able to keep him relatively under control. So the line either stepped up until he got hurt, or he'd been hurt way more than we were led to believe. And I don't see him playing a whole game that injured. So it shows you the line is able to step up their game a little bit.
Is Bosa still out?
I believe so.
Okay, so it's just okay. Well, that's
and no. In all honesty, Khalil Mack has played much better without Bosa. Their defense has been better without Bosa in the lineup.
Really?
Yes.
So are we getting Joey Bosa next year?
Probably. I was gonna say there's actually gonna be there might be another Von Miller, Chandler Jones, and Randy Gregory type of rushing linebacker free agent class this year.
Oh man, that's. I mean, yeah, because and the best one was Hassan Reddick. But yeah, so this is gonna be a fun game though for sure. But like I said, that dink and dunk thing, I think that's a good thing for the Broncos. I think the Broncos being forced to play a more conservative, quick pass kind of game is better because I don't know. It seems like when they had a chance to get away from that, they did, and it cost them the game against the Texans. They couldn't, consistently move the ball, and then at the end of the game, obviously, we harped about it on the last pod. So just constantly Russ getting rushed a little bit more often and having to dump it off quickly and kind of forcing the team to be a little bit more efficient and take those field goals and stuff, I think really does work in the Broncos' favor. And we're kind of hoping for something like that if Russ can avoid getting sacked a whole bunch of times. Knock on wood. The defense just has to be able to hold Keenan Allen down because their running game has been bad. So they're hoping that Josh Kelly can add a spark or a combo of him and Eckler can figure it out maybe. But that's the one thing that worries me on defense is Keenan Allen going off and us just not being able to stop him.
So Joey Bosa was placed on IR in week 11, so he's still got one more week off.
Okay.
Thank you.
But looking at the injury report, so Palmer also is not. He's listed as out for this game. So
okay, good news for us.
They are not. Yeah, they are not getting him back. So it really is the Keenan Allen show, and possibly Josh Kelly
and my guy Quentin Johnston.
Yeah. Samaje Perine did not practice on Friday. Everyone else for the Broncos looks healthy.
That's not great.
It was questionable.
Because he's a nice little spell to Javon. Although that means more reps for Jaleel McLaughlin. So potential touchdowns. So maybe that works out. Hopefully McLaughlin can pass block a little bit. That's all I'm hoping for.
All right. Well, let's get to it. Are we going to victory formation with this, or can I ask for predictions?
No, you guys begged and pleaded for it to be in the victory formation. You don't remember.
Well, that was Nick.
That was no.
No, I literally said let's pick it every time because I think it's fun to just pick the game. And we'll just have that part be done in the victory formation.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and move on to college football playoffs. So
CFP.
It's better to be known than good, I guess, if you're Alabama.
Well, it's better to be in the SEC.
Yeah.
Than the ACC.
How do we feel about this tournament? And if Alabama wins the whole thing, is it a clean win?
I mean, yeah, because they'll have won the whole thing, but it's still going to feel scummy that they got in there. Like, I don't know. It just sucks. It's such a fucking popularity contest. And all the reasons that they would have kept a team like FSU out with a record like Alabama's, keep Alabama in with the lower record. And it's like, but if we're just looking at it from a football standpoint, we got two really good games coming up with these four teams. So that at least that's what they wanted. They're trying to get the best games. And we have some really good ones. So that's going to be really cool. And yeah, Alabama will have had to have beat two out of the four best teams in college football, being one of them. So that still makes it a clean win. I feel like it just feels bad that they got there, and it just kind of furthers the point that rule is fucked up, and that the 12-team playoff, while maybe being too many teams, is just necessary because we need to get everybody there. FSU deserved a shot, even without their starting quarterback. They deserve to go down like men in the playoffs fighting, 50-0 against whoever it's Alabama, Michigan, right?
Yeah, Alabama,
And then
Michigan, Washington, Texas.
Texas, Washington. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's going to be awesome. I'm super stoked.
Yeah, I mean, they should be better games, like you said. And don't forget, Florida State's also not only down their starting quarterback, but their backup quarterback. They're on
Really?
their third, they're on their third stringer. So,
wow. But I love that in playoffs. Like, that's one of the coolest things when those guys get a chance to go. So that makes the hipster in me really sad.
I mean, you can see, it'd be like old man Stetson Bennett, 10-year freshman,
Dude.
going and winning a championship with Georgia, but what I'm saying, if Alabama wins it, the script writers had that one in there. Everyone talks about scripts for the NFL, talk about a script for college football.
Right.
Alabama going and winning it would much be very, very like the script writers to do it. The team that no one thought should be there ends up winning it all. Did they get it right? No. In theory, but did they get it right as far as the competition? Yeah. The competition is going. These are the best games that you probably could have hoped for, because Florida State against any of these teams, their win over Louisville in the championship game was like a 13-6 win or something. It was bad, and it wasn't good football. I mean, that would have been your bad loss watch, Joe. If we were doing it that best. It was an ugly game. They could barely
I would have had so many like warrior metaphors, the 300 Spartans, and just like how honorable it is, and then just try to avoid actually saying the score the whole time.
Yeah, they could barely put up points on Louisville. So did they get it right for the games that should be played and probably the best teams right now? Yeah, I do believe they did. It sucks for Florida State, but you know what? Like, these things happen, and they happen all the time. We see in the NCAA tournament in basketball where a team is really good, but they lose a guy and their seed drops down dramatically for March Madness because they lose one of their best players, or they don't even get in to the tournament because of that. And that's with 68, whatever. We see it in college basketball, but it isn't as microcosmed as it is with the college football because it's only 4 teams. Sure, there's talk and there's debate about those guys in basketball, but it's really not as much because you're like, well, there's a reason why they didn't get in. And the reason why Florida State didn't get in is they lost their best guys. They had not that they had no chance, but their chances were about as good as me turning $10 into 2,000. It feels like.
I don't know. I've seen your bet slips, dude. I'm a little concerned.
Recently, I'm good. What are you talking about?
I know. That's why I'm concerned.
I'm hot, baby. I'm hot.
No.
Hot.
Yeah, you better take
okay. Maybe I should have said the odds are about as good as Calvin Ridley getting into the end zone when I bet on him. Those were Florida State chances. So
that's rough. I'm sorry, buddy. Also, Colin has Calvin Ridley in fantasy too.
Well, I do. He's on the bench.
Woodford, yeah.
Oh man.
Wait, you don't trust CJ Beathard?
Okay, let's
throw at Calvin Ridley.
Nope. Give me Devontae Adams and DJ Moore.
Yeah, that's better.
I mean, good thing too. The Falcons made a bowl game. I know most people won't care.
Atlanta?
Yes. Atlanta Falcons.
Bijan went back to Texas.
Yeah. So which bowl is it, Nick?
I'm pulling it up right now. It should be the
Armed Forces
one
Bowl?
of the military bowls. Yeah, I think it's the Armed Forces Bowl.
Yeah, it's
that
in.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Where is it?
I believe.
So that means they just play.
There it is, Armed Forces Bowl, James Madison, December 23rd. So you can watch. You can watch Air Force win the Armed Forces Bowl against James Madison. It's in Virginia. They're actually moving up. They had to wait 1 year before they were eligible to play in the D1 football championship division because they just got moved up. Yeah.
Okay.
And one of my friends went there.
The new kids on the block.
Yeah, new kids on the block. They're ranked 24th Air Force has kind of shit the bed for the last few weeks.
Yeah.
So
Don't
hopefully
hold
a
back,
couple
Nick.
weeks.
Tell us how you really feel.
Dude, I love my Falcons.
Oh, me too, man. I broadcasted. Well, not me personally. I just hit the buttons. But I was working a lot of those games, and like they were really fun early on, and it was such a quality team. And it just as soon as that first loss hit, it was just all downhill from there. That was the game against Army, right? In the
Well, I just
yeah. I just still call it basketball.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I just love the military schools. They can't go and get kids like the regular colleges. You know, you're stuck with whoever signs up.
Yep.
And to be that dominant of a football team with a bunch of kids that are signing up to go defend this country, I love it.
Absolutely.
I'll always root for military.
That's coaching, and then we have Army Navy today.
Yeah, but they're not as cool.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you said that. Yeah, it's not Air Force, so we don't really care.
Nope, not at all.
Plus,
what's Nick doing?
Is he doing it?
Pretty sure. Yeah, I gotta make sure something is where it belongs right now.
Oh.
I don't know what Nick is doing.
No, this is for the Commander-in-Chief trophy, isn't it?
I thought he was about to
Army Navy
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every year it is.
Yeah, this is for the Commander-in-Chief. Crap. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess it's gonna leave Air Force for now. That's okay. Let them have it for a little bit. Get it back next year.
Fine.
I mean, they beat Air Force, so.
Don't remind me. It's you're gonna make me depressed, just like the Nuggets and the Avalanche are right now.
Yeah, they're stuck in something ugly, aren't they? They're stuck in something ugly, aren't they?
Dude, it's stupid.
Yeah, I don't know.
If they would have played like, did you watch the game last night where they basically almost came back and took that win away from the Rockets?
I was following it. I was not watching.
No, I didn't catch it either, sadly.
If they would have played the whole game like they did the last 4 minutes, that game would have not have been an issue.
Ooh.
And for whatever, they went on an 18-0 run in like 4.5 minutes.
Malone's
and got themselves
furious.
Like 7. Well, there was the refs got a little lax with. I think they swallowed their whistles too, because there were a number of number of fouls that should have been called, and
number of red cards.
It was there were a couple yellow cards thrown out there though. Jamal got ejected for his second tee. But I mean, I don't know. It was just a frustrating game. I watched a little bit of it and I couldn't stay tuned in. For whatever reason, I went back in the fourth quarter and it was a whole different team.
Word. How has Jamal looked coming back?
Not bad. Definitely some ring rust, but I mean, I'm sure he'll get back into shape here in the next couple games.
Okay, word. That's kind of what I expected, but I haven't heard much. I haven't watched the games yet myself. I've been, distracted, busy doing stuff.
Busy hustling, always hustling.
Speaking of hustling, you know what I bet last night? I bet Victor Wembanyama over 4.5 blocks and steals, and guess what? He got it.
I
should have bet Joker under 30 points last night, and he would have got it.
Yeah, not 1.5.
Stupid.
No, but if you'd bet the under, he would have scored more.
Right?
I did hit the under on Dylan Brooks under 22.5 total points.
Nice.
Points, rebounds, and assists, actually.
Word. That's a pretty good. I mean, yeah. Dylan Brooks is one of those guys that, like, his impact isn't really shown in points and stats too much. He's just, defense and anger.
Yeah, and you mentioned the refs kind of swallowing their whistles. Dylan Brooks got teed up when the Rockets were up by like 19 points. And I
Yeah.
was like, and I think he had like 16 points at that time. And I saw the line at 22.5 at plus money. And I was like, oh, Dylan Brooks might not play much. And then the Nuggets started to make a run. Like you said, I'm like, oh crap, Dylan Brooks is coming back in the game. And luckily he didn't make any baskets. The Nuggets only fouled Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks got like 2 rebounds.
Jeez.
Yeah,
they apparently he needed to work on free throws because dude kept sending him to the line. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Hold on. Lean back one more time, Nick. Show us that Papa Roach t-shirt. That's pretty sweet. I just caught that. Well done, sir.
Thank you. I got it from the Papa Roach show, actually.
Hell yeah.
When they came in with Shinedown.
Yeah, my coworker went to that show. He said he fucking loved it.
Dude, it was amazing.
Ah, that sounds fun. That'd be a cool band to see. I don't like Shinedown that much, but
I love Shinedown.
Anyway, back to sports though.
Yeah, sports.
Yeah, it's that early to mid basketball season time. Last year the Nuggets were kind of finding their stride because they were really striving for that playoff push. This year it feels like they're just kind of still trying to figure it out because they're just not super concerned and they're just going to do it in the playoffs.
They're going to Joe Goodwin it, just kind of winging it.
Hopefully, though, they actually start to really pour it on later on because I think the higher the seed, the better. Home court advantage is a big deal, and they really do, especially Jamal, feed off of the home court fans. So trying to get home court advantage, especially throughout, because you might not get lucky in having, Philly and Milwaukee both and Boston all lose the teams that would have had court advantage on you in the finals. So hopefully they start to kind of climb that ladder. But at the end of the day, who knows? Maybe it's fucking Denver, Miami again, and they're like the 7th seed or 6th seed. Don't count out Jimmy Buckets.
Well, yeah, I mean, right now the Nuggets are 4 games back of the Timberwolves, and 1 game behind the Oklahoma City Thunder, tied with the Mavericks. So, Minnesota's kind of built to win the regular season. It feels like. I think that's been their focus, is getting that number 1 seed too.
Yeah.
But that being said, I think the Nuggets could still hold the number 2 spot because I don't think Oklahoma City, while playing very good, I don't know if they'll be able to sustain it all season. They're kind of injury prone. So I would say that I think the Nuggets are likely to be able to move up to that 2nd seed because the Mavericks are also injury prone. Like, when's Luka going to get hurt and be out for 2 weeks? We got to see what happens if the Nuggets can stay healthy too. But the Nuggets getting the number 2 seed, I think should be the goal this season. Because like I said, Minnesota, I think, is going to play their ass off to get the number 1 seed. But I also think Minnesota will lose a round before they face the Nuggets. At least how it stands right now. I don't know if they're made for the playoffs.
No, they're made to beat the Nuggets, and that's it.
Yeah.
But even then, they still haven't figured out that full formula yet, other than in the regular season.
So you're right, Joe. Home court's huge. We saw it last year. I mean, the energy that comes from the fans in the stands.
Yeah,
really help that team.
Stands in the stands.
And then the Avalanche, they're sitting first in the Central right now, which is lucky for them. I don't know how they've managed to keep that one.
Everyone else sucks.
Carefully.
Yeah, well, the Stars have 33 points, the Jets have 32, especially after winning the game the other night.
Yeah, they just beat the Avs
pretty easily. Coyotes and Predators are both 28 points. The Blues 27, the Wild sitting at 22, and the Blackhawks at 17. Thank God for the Blackhawks.
The Wild also just fired their coach. The Wild they're gonna have some games this year like any other team, but they're not gonna be a contender at all. I don't see them making it back. They're in a total clusterfuck at this moment.
Flustercluck?
Yep.
Yeah, it's dude, that team like just fell apart in a hurry too. It just I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it feels like they like douse themselves in gasoline and lit themselves on fire because they just haven't been the same. It feels like just suddenly. Maybe it's just me.
I was gonna say it's they lost their goaltender and they fell apart.
That'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, we all hated him anyway. All right.
I mean, we're all criticizing, Georgiev, but he goes down. Whew, terrifying.
Yeah, Georgiev gets hurt. They're screwed.
Yeah, that's just So yeah, that'll ruin a team for sure. I don't watch a ton of hockey, but I'm pretty sure the goalie's an important guy.
Hey, that's a pretty good call.
Yeah, that's so.
Now that we're all depressed, let's make ourselves more depressed.
Ooh.
And let Colin take over so he can take us into the victory formation.
This is the victory formation.
All right, boys, here we go. Best play in football. 6 right tight diamond victory on 1. Break.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
The Pick'em segment, proving that Colin Zanker is the most humble man in the history of time. Least. Featuring Nick Archuleta, wishing he was somewhere else. And Joe Goodwin, just kind of winging it.
Yeah, that's right, everybody. Welcome to your favorite part of the show, the victory formation, where we're still going to keep you a little bit depressed because we got to start off with giving Joe Goodwin his bad loss game of the week. Joe, are you ready for the game that you get to watch?
That's going to be great. I can't wait. Is it going to be the Jets again?
It is the Texans versus the Jets.
Woo!
Texans with no Tank Dell and some semblance of a running back in a really crappy weather game in the Meadowlands.
I love this.
It's supposed to be snowing.
Just all Jets.
And Zach Wilson is back. Well, it was between that and then I'll pull it up in a second. But yes, it is the Jets.
That sounds good.
The Jets are the team that it's going to be pretty easy. You're gonna know that team inside and out.
The Chronicles of the Jets.
By the time it's the Chronicles of what?
J-E-T-S suck.
I will say that the Rams-Ravens game is supposed to be pretty ugly, like 20-mile-an-hour winds. The other game that I was going to choose between was the Jaguars and the Browns.
Ooh, with all the backup quarterbacks. That's kind of
yeah.
I mean, you could do both.
That could just be ridiculous.
The over-under on the Jets-Titans is 32.5. The over-under on the Jaguars-Browns is 33.5. So
you said Jets-Titans or Jets-Texans?
Jets-Texans.
Cool.
And it's and then if you want to do a double dose, I mean, feel free to do the Jaguars and Browns.
I mean, if just not nearly enough happens within the Jets Texans game, maybe I'll do that.
So to go away from the depressing football, there's some weird games this week, but there's also a lot of really good games this weekend. And we'll kick it off with the Broncos versus the Chargers. Nick, you mentioned earlier, Broncos have not won at SoFi. Trying to get back onto a winning streak and get their annual win against the Chargers. Do they do it this weekend, Nick?
I'm going to go with yes. I think the Broncos can pull it off.
What?
They're gonna go back to what worked 2 weeks ago. And Chargers, it's that time of year where the Chargers start to charger.
They've been doing it all year already.
That too. But if the Chargers have been charging all year, can you imagine the Chargers charging when they're already charging?
A lot of charging.
It is a lot of charging.
They're going to overcharge their phones.
Nick has the Broncos. Joe, who you got?
I wanted to really show my shock and awe that Nick picked the Broncos.
Well played.
I wonder if we have this written down, if we have to just check the audio. Has Nick ever picked against the Broncos?
No,
yes.
I don't think so. Oh, the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Okay. The streak is over of picking against the Broncos and them winning. The juju is now reset. So I think the Broncos should win this game. I'm gonna take the Broncos, son.
I am not. I'm going with the Chargers at home, and the streak
No,
might be
they're not
over.
at home.
The streak might be over for you choosing. I know it's kind of like the second home to the Broncos, but it still doesn't mean that the Broncos can win there. So, give me the Chargers. Next game, we got Sunday night football. We got Eagles visiting the Cowboys. Eagles underdogs at plus 154. Cowboys minus 185. Joe, who you got?
Who's on the road again?
Eagles.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Philly. I'm a little surprised. I mean, their defense, their pass defense especially, is not very good. But I just feel like they'll be able to overcome, and Dak Prescott will throw a pick to anybody.
Too bad he can't throw it to Deron Bland.
I know, right? But yeah, I'll take Philly.
I also have Philly in this game. I just think that last week, while they looked very vanilla, didn't look good against San Francisco, I think they come out and want to show the world that they are the team to beat in the NFC. Nick, who you got?
I don't like this because you guys have both picked the Eagles like I was going to. Part of me wants to pick the Cowboys to be different, but I think a lot of this is based on last week. Like you said, Colin, they didn't look good last week. And I think a lot of these predictions are coming off of how they looked. And I think that was just a blip on the radar. So I'm going to have to go to the Eagles.
Sweep for the Eagles. Moving ahead to Monday Night Football. Both of these games really do kind of suck, but they should be somewhat entertaining.
Double dip again on Monday?
Another clean sweep here. We have the Titans versus the Dolphins in Miami. Dolphins are at minus 900 favorites. Kind of hard to make money on that, but I'm choosing the Dolphins to beat the Titans. Nick, who you got?
Yeah, give me the Fins.
Joe?
I would love to be that guy that's like, you know what, man? I'm just feeling an upset. No, I'm taking Miami.
Yeah, I have not had a dream about this game, but what I will say is the Titans somehow, some way at the end of the season find a way to have one of those games that really surprised you. A few years ago was them beating the Chiefs.
Yep.
They have a way every once in a while to find a way to win one of these games. So it might be worth a little flyer and $10 on the Titans because you're not making money on $10 on the Dolphins.
No,
that's true.
Next, the second Monday Night Football game. There are two this week, everybody.
Yeah.
We have the Packers versus the Giants. Another game in the Meadowlands. Packers favorite at minus 298. Giants underdogs at plus 240. Giants coming off of the bye. Nick, who you got?
Oh, give me Jordan Love all day on that one.
Joe, who you got?
I mean, this kind of feels the same, like to a little bit lesser of an extent because the Packers aren't as good. But yeah, it's the Packers for sure. The Giants are terrible.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants are terrible, but they have a great running back, and it's not supposed to be good weather. So give me the Giants in this game. And Saquon Barkley, who's also on my fantasy team. But I don't Jordan Love in the spotlight hasn't proved to be that good yet. So give me the Giants and Mr. DeVito to hand the ball off 40 times, much like the Broncos should.
Tommy.
We get our last special pick'em because we are doing this early enough on Saturday. Tonight's in-season tournament championship. It is the Pacers underdogs plus 150 versus the Lakers minus 180. You might as well be at home in Las Vegas. Team. Lakers are the favorite. I don't know. I didn't know where I was going with it, but Lakers are basically home. Did you see how many Lakers fans were at that freaking game the other night? Oh my God, it was packed. It was packed with Lakers fans.
I wonder why.
And that's why I said they might as well be the home team, but a little bit slower. So We kick this off. Joe, who you got? Is Tyrese Halliburton going to mess around and get a triple-double and lead the Pacers to victory, or is LeBron going to turn back the hands of time?
I mean, I've a useless, like, totally empty in-season tournament championship totally feels like something LeBron would try really hard for. That's just right up his alley. But I don't know, man. Indiana has the best offense of the NBA. Tyrese Halliburton is on fire. The Lakers do play very good defense. I don't know if they have it all together yet, though. But because they beat the Pelicans. It's not the Pelicans or world beaters. Yeah, I'm going to take Indiana.
All right. Joe, you actually said my exact reason why I'm choosing this game. LeBron, this is totally a game that he would get up for being the first one to win the in-season tournament. He just wants that on his resume. He wants to pad that, saying that no one else can be the first ever. Yeah. So
Michael Jordan didn't win an in-season tournament.
Nope. There you go. Just another thing. He can always say he was the first. So I am taking the Lakers to beat the Pacers tonight. Nick, who you got? He doesn't want to pick the Lakers, but he's going to. I can tell.
I like the way. I like the way the Pacers have been playing. Like Joe, I don't remember. One of you guys said they had the number one offense.
Yep.
And I picked them last time when they weren't supposed to beat Boston. So I'm going to pick them again because they're not supposed to beat the Lakers. Pacers all the way, baby.
Indiana, son.
All you cornbread, corn-fed Huskers.
Yeah.
I do enjoy corn, yes.
I don't know.
What? Hang on.
I think of Iowa.
No, you keep talking. I might have breaking news.
There's still probably corn.
There might be breaking news. Shohei Ohtani probably related is my guess. But what I will say is that there is a place in Indiana named Clay City. They're known for their clay and one Mexican restaurant.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, just thought I'd throw that little tidbit out there for you.
Thank you.
According to
this has been Travel with Colin Zanker.
Oh, there's lots of travel in my future.
Yes. All right. This is official from Instagram.
All right.
Verified account.
On Instagram.
Shohei Ohtani. To all the fans and everyone involved in the baseball world, I apologize for taking so long to come to a decision. I have decided to choose
the Dodgers.
Blue Jays.
The Dodgers as my next team. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to everyone involved with the Angels organization and fans who have supported me over the past 6 years, as well as to everyone involved with each team that was part of this negotiation process, especially to the Angels fans who supported me through all the ups and downs. Your guys' support and cheer meant the world to me. The 6 years I spent with the Angels will remain etched in my heart forever. And to all Dodgers fans, I pledge to always do what's best for the team and always continue to give it my all to be the best version of myself until the last day of my playing career. I want to continue to strive forward not only for the Dodgers, but for the baseball world. There are some things that cannot be conveyed in writing, so I would like to talk more about this again later at a later press conference. Thank you very much. And that is, again, a verified Shohei Ohtani Instagram account.
As Shohei's Ohtani agent, as I talked about just on Wednesday, we loved everything that was going on with this. And we know Dave Roberts spoke up, but our meeting with Dave Roberts was really great. And so we decided that LA was going to be the best place for Shohei to bring his talents. We all know he loves the West Coast and he wants to bring a championship to the city of LA. Of course, we would have loved to do it in an Angels uniform, but we'll settle for a Dodgers uniform. Thank you from the bottom of my heart as Shohei Ohtani's agent. I appreciate y'all and your patience.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. I'm pretty sure I also said that he was going to sign with the Dodgers because it's the Dodgers. And come on, of course he's going to go there and try to win a whole bunch of shit and just be the best.
It's also for 10 years and $700 million.
That's a lot.
Yep.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I think he's going to do all right.
I think so.
Hey, Nick, I think he'll probably be able to pitch in those 10 years too. So don't you worry about it.
Yep.
Yeah, you think he will. We'll see.
Even if he doesn't. Oh, there we go.
For a D8.
So I think the real winner of the victory formation was the Dodgers.
The real winner was the Dodgers.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Wow.
Well, now the Rockies get to have a sold-out game every time the Dodgers come to town.
Yeah, too bad they have less games against the Dodgers.
Yeah, too bad they do already anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Huh.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Well,
Pretty good one, fellas.
Yankees Dodgers in the next World Series. I'll see you then, Colin.
I mean, I don't.
And thank you to everybody over.
I was going to say I don't care about a Yankees Dodgers World Series. I don't care about it, but yeah, it's
because Yankees got Juan Soto, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Yamamoto.
Speaking of victory formation, there's a bet right now plus 100 Soto and Judge over 82 home runs.
Yeah, that seems like a free $100.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, over to even280sports.com, Michael Spillion and all the crew over there for having us on. Don't forget to check out their shows as well. Michael will be on tomorrow morning with Wheelhouse, but make sure you check out all their other shows as well. Once again, for Colin Zanker and Joe Goodwin, I'm Nick Archuleta. Have a great one. See you guys next time.
Bye, everybody.